Do you know how many black celebrities we have lost to the AIDS? Well, the number's increasing, but in this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 black celebrities who lost their lives to AIDS. From EazyE's groundbreaking beats to Alvin Ay's transformative dance performances that celebrated black experiences, their contributions are immeasurable. EazyE. Remember when NWA shook the music world with Straight Outta Compton? That raw energy and unfiltered truth came straight from EazyE, often called the godfather of gangsta rap. Born Eric Wright in Compton, California, EazyE wasn't just making music. He was giving voice to the streets, sharing stories that mainstream America hadn't heard before. But did you know that behind the beats and bravado was a man facing a silent battle that would ultimately shock fans worldwide? EazyE started as a hustler, using the money he earned to launch Ruthless Records. Teaming up with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, he formed NWA, and together they redefined hip-hop. Their lyrics tackled police brutality, systemic racism, and life in the inner city, resonating deeply within the black community. Eazy's entrepreneurial spirit and fearless approach made him a pioneer, opening doors for future artists to own their narratives. In 1995, EazyE was hospitalized, initially believing he had asthma. The diagnosis was far more serious: AIDS. In a time when misconceptions about the disease were rampant, especially within the black community, Eazy chose to go public with his condition. In a heartfelt letter, he addressed his fans, urging them to learn from his experience. On March 26, 1995, EazyE passed away at just 31 years old. His death was a wake-up call, highlighting the importance of awareness and education about HIV/AIDS in our communities. EazyE's courage in sharing his diagnosis helped destigmatize the disease and encouraged open conversations. Willie Smith. Have you ever wondered who brought the vibrancy of street style into high fashion? Meet Willie Smith, the ingenious designer behind Williewear, who believed that style should be accessible to everyone. Born in Philadelphia in 1948, Willie was inspired by the colors, sounds, and spirit of the city. He wasn't just creating clothes, he was crafting a cultural movement that celebrated black creativity and individuality. Willie studied commercial art before attending Parsons School of Design in New York. In 1976, he founded Williewear Limited, pioneering the concept of streetwear long before it became mainstream. His designs blended comfort with elegance, reflecting the diversity and dynamism of urban life. Willie once said, "I don't design clothes for the queen, but for the people who wave at her as she goes by." His approach democratized fashion, making it relatable and fun. Tragically, Willie's flourishing career was cut short. In 1987, after returning from a trip to India, he fell ill and was diagnosed with Shigella and pneumonia. It was later revealed that he had contracted AIDS. Willie Smith passed away on April 17, 1987, at the age of 39. His death was a significant loss, not just to the fashion industry, but to the black community that he so proudly represented. Willie's legacy lives on in the way we dress today. His influence is evident in the streetwear brands that dominate fashion and in the ongoing conversation about inclusivity and design. Arthur Ashe. Think of a sports legend who used his platform to champion civil rights and health advocacy. Arthur Ashe undoubtedly comes to mind. Born in Richmond, Virginia in 1943, Ashe grew up in the segregated South but didn't let barriers hold him back. He became the first black man to win major tennis titles like the US Open, Australian Open, and Wimbledon. But Arthur Ashe was more than an athlete. He was a trailblazer who dedicated his life to making a difference. Ashe's grace on the tennis court was matched by his poise off it. He was an outspoken advocate for racial equality, using his fame to highlight injustices and inspire change. His activism extended globally as he campaigned against apartheid in South Africa, refusing to be silent in the face of oppression. In the early 1980s, Ashe underwent heart surgery and, unknowingly, contracted HIV from a blood transfusion. In 1992, facing rumors about his health, he chose to publicly announce his diagnosis. At a time when HIV/AIDS was heavily stigmatized, especially within the black community, Ashe's openness was a courageous act. He founded the Arthur Ashe Foundation for the Defeat of AIDS, focusing on raising awareness, funding research, and combating discrimination. Arthur Ashe passed away on February 6, 1993, at the age of 49. His death was a profound loss, but his legacy continues to inspire. Fela Kuti. Can you feel the pulse of Afrobeat coursing through your veins? That's the legacy of Fela Kuti, the Nigerian musician and activist who used his art as a powerful tool against injustice. Born Olufela Olusegun Oludotun Ransom Kuti, in 1938, Fela was more than an entertainer. He was the voice of a movement, challenging corrupt systems and inspiring a generation to think differently. Fela's music was a fusion of jazz, funk, highlife, and traditional Nigerian rhythms, creating a sound that was both innovative and deeply rooted in African culture. His lyrics tackled political corruption, colonialism, and social inequalities, resonating with people not just in Nigeria, but across the continent and the world. Songs like Zombie and Sorrow, Tears, and Blood weren't just hits. They were rallying cries. His activism came at a personal cost. Fela faced constant harassment from the Nigerian government, including arrests and raids on his commune, the Kalakuta Republic. Yet he remained undeterred, using each challenge as fuel for his art and activism. On August 2, 1997, Fela Kuti passed away at the age of 58. His brother announced that the cause was AIDS-related complications. Fela's death was a significant moment, shedding light on the AIDS crisis in Africa and the need for education and resources within the Black community globally. Alvin Ay. Have you ever been moved to tears by a dance performance that seemed to tell your own story? Alvin Ay made that possible for countless people by bringing African American experiences to the global stage through the universal language of dance. Born in rural Texas in 1931, Ay's journey from a small town to becoming one of the most influential choreographers in history is nothing short of inspirational. Ay founded the Alvin Ay American Dance Theater in 1958, aiming to celebrate Black culture and provide a platform for Black dancers during a time of segregation and limited opportunities. His signature work, Revelations, explores the pain and joy of the African American journey, set to spirituals and blues music. It's been performed continuously since its creation, touching audiences worldwide. Despite his public success, Ay was a private person. He struggled with personal challenges, including the pressures of being a Black gay man in a society that wasn't accepting. In 1989, he was diagnosed with a terminal illness due to AIDS-related complications. Ay chose to keep his diagnosis private to protect his mother from distress, a testament to his deep love and consideration for family. Alvin Ay passed away on December 1, 1989, at the age of 58. His death was a significant loss to the arts community, but his legacy thrives. Sylvester. Do you ever feel an unstoppable urge to dance when you hear "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real"? That's the magic of Sylvester, the flamboyant disco diva who turned music into a celebration of life and identity. Born Sylvester James Jr. in Los Angeles in 1947, he grew up singing gospel music, but his path led him to become a trailblazer for self-expression in the LGBTQ+ and Black communities. Sylvester moved to San Francisco in the 1960s, immersing himself in the counterculture and embracing his true self. With his soaring falsetto and glittering costumes, he wasn't just performing, he was making a statement. His music blended disco, soul, and gospel, creating anthems that encouraged others to live authentically. In the 1980s, Sylvester was diagnosed with HIV. Instead of hiding, he became one of the first public figures to speak openly about his condition. He used his platform to raise awareness about AIDS, particularly its impact on the Black community. Sylvester continued to perform as long as he could, spreading messages of love and acceptance. Sylvester passed away on December 16, 1988, at the age of 41. His funeral was a vibrant affair, reflecting the joy he brought to so many. Howard Rollins. Do you recall the gripping performances of Howard Rollins as Virgil Tibbs in the television series In the Heat of the Night? Rollins was a gifted actor who brought depth and dignity to his roles, portraying Black characters with complexity and nuance. Born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1950, Rollins's journey to stardom was marked by both triumphs and trials. He began his acting career on stage before making a splash in Hollywood with his Oscar-nominated role in Ragtime, 1981. His portrayal of Coalhouse Walker Jr., a proud musician facing racial injustice, showcased his immense talent. Rollins continued to break ground with roles that challenged stereotypes and highlighted the Black experience. Despite his professional success, Rollins faced personal challenges, including struggles with addiction and legal issues. These difficulties impacted his career and health. In the early 1990s, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, a type of cancer. Some reports suggest he was also HIV positive, though he kept his health issues private. Howard Rollins passed away on December 8, 1996, at the age of 46 due to complications from lymphoma. His death was a loss to the acting world and the Black community. Rollins' story underscores the pressures faced by Black actors in Hollywood and the importance of supporting mental and physical health. Max Robinson. Did you know that Max Robinson shattered glass ceilings as the first Black network news anchor in the United States? Born in Richmond, Virginia in 1939, Robinson's journey was one of breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations of Black journalists. His dedication to truth and representation made him a pioneer in the world of broadcast news. Robinson began his career in local television, becoming the first Black anchor on a local TV news program in Washington, D.C. His talent and commitment led him to co-anchor ABC's World News Tonight in 1978. Robinson used his position to challenge racial biases in media and advocate for more inclusive storytelling. Behind the scenes, Robinson grappled with personal struggles, including alcoholism and the immense pressure of being a trailblazer in a predominantly white industry. He was diagnosed with AIDS, but chose to keep his illness private due to the stigma and fear of professional repercussions. Max Robinson passed away on December 20, 1988, at the age of 49 from AIDS-related pneumonia. His death highlighted the need for open conversations about health issues affecting the Black community. Robinson's legacy is profound. He not only changed the face of news, but also inspired others to pursue journalism and advocate for representation. Kenny Green. Kenny Green, the lead singer of the R&B group Intro, brought heartfelt emotion to every note he sang. Born in Detroit, Michigan in 1969, Kenny's journey is one of passion, talent, and a life that, while brief, left an indelible mark on the music world. Kenny began his musical career singing in church, where his powerful voice and natural talent quickly became evident. He formed Intro in the early 1990s with buddies Jeff Sanders and Clinton Buddy Wyke. The trio quickly gained attention with their smooth harmonies and relatable lyrics. Their self-titled debut album, released in 1993, featured hits like Come Inside and Ribbon in the Sky, a Stevie Wonder cover that showcased Kenny's soulful interpretation. Beyond performing, Kenny was a gifted songwriter. He penned Love No Limit for Mary J. Blige, contributing to the soundtrack of many lives with his honest and emotive writing. His work resonated deeply within the Black community, capturing the complexities of love and life with authenticity. However, behind the success, Kenny faced personal challenges. He was diagnosed with AIDS, but kept his illness private for much of his career, fearing the stigma that often surrounds the disease. In a brave move, he disclosed his condition in a 2001 interview with Sister to Sister magazine, hoping to raise awareness and help others facing similar struggles. Kenny Green passed away on October 1, 2001, at the young age of 32. His death was a significant loss to R&B music and highlighted the impact of AIDS within the Black community. Kenny's openness about his diagnosis, though late in his life, contributed to important conversations about health, stigma, and support. Bobby DeBarge. Have you ever been moved by a voice so soulful that it leaves an indelible mark on your heart? That's the magic of Bobby DeBarge, the lead singer of the R&B group Switch, whose falsetto vocals defined a generation of music lovers. But behind the chart-topping hits and captivating performances lies a story of immense talent shadowed by personal struggles. So what happened to this gifted musician whose life was as tumultuous as it was brilliant? Born on March 5, 1956 in Detroit, Michigan, Bobby was the eldest sibling in the musical DeBarge family. Growing up in a household filled with both music and hardship, Bobby found solace in singing. Alongside his brothers, he formed Switch in the late 1970s. With hits like There'll Never Be and I Call Your Name, the band soared up the R&B charts. Bobby's incredible voice and heartfelt songwriting resonated deeply within the Black community, making him a beloved figure in the music industry. However, fame brought its own set of challenges. Bobby grappled with a troubled childhood marked by abuse, which led him down a path of drug addiction. His battle with heroin not only strained his relationships, but also hindered his career. In the 1980s, he faced legal troubles and was incarcerated on drug trafficking charges, a period he later described with deep regret. In 1988, Bobby was diagnosed with HIV, which progressed to AIDS. He kept his illness a secret from the public, sharing it only with close family members. Despite his declining health, Bobby attempted a comeback, working on new music and trying to rebuild his life. Tragically, on August 16, 1995, Bobby DeBarge passed away at the age of 39 due to AIDS-related complications. His death was a profound loss to the music world and left a void in the hearts of his fans and family. Bobby's story highlights the devastating impact of AIDS within the Black community, a topic that was often shrouded in silence during that era.